Right, good afternoon and welcome to my channel. I want to do a little bit of a craft with me project share. So this treasure chest in front of me is made from MDF, or it's actually paper mache, I think this one is. And this I got from Hobbycraft. I thought it was the works, but the label underneath was Hobbycraft. Yeah, it's definitely paper mache, and I've had this since before I started shielding last March. I do use it, I just haven't actually decorated it because I don't think I knew what I wanted to decorate it with. So I've just carried on using it. It's empty now because I've taken everything out of it. So I thought we would decorate it. So what I've done is, well, anybody that knows me knows I absolutely love Alice in Wonderland. And I have got quite a few collections. I've got them, ones that I've bought as a physical collection. So I've got the paper pads, etc. And I also have a lot of digital collections that I buy from Etsy. So I've decided that I'm going to be decorating this box in papers or Alice in Wonderland style. So this is, that one's not very well because you've got the crease there. So this image here, if you can see it here, is actually one of the papers from one of the collections that I have, that I purchased from Etsy. And I've actually printed this off on tissue paper because I didn't have any napkins that I wanted to use for decoupage. But I thought this was absolutely beautiful, and I do have the rest of the collection as well, so I probably will actually decorate this box as Alice in Wonderland. And to, you know, if you don't have any napkins that you want to use but you have a printer, you can print using white tissue paper. And all I do is, I mean, this is, I think there are 7 sheets in these sets, and I get them from Asda. I think there were 80p for 7 sheets of white tissue paper. And it's fairly thin, but it's very big. I think they're 70 by 80, I think. I can't remember. I took it out of the packaging now. And all I do is I cut it down to A4 size so it'll go through my printer. And then I attach it to card. I mean, that's just an old scrap piece of card with low-tack tape, and that will go through my printer then. This one here is on a sticker sheet, so it's just on one of the ones I use for my labels, and that's that. I've done that double-sided. You know, sometimes the printer doesn't like it, but most of the time it's not too bad. So I'm hoping that I've got enough and that I can get away with not using these crease bits. But where it's creased like that, if I have to, then I can always cover them with ephemera after. So all I do is I attach them, cut them down to A4, and then attach them to the card or the paper that I want to use as a backing, just to take it through the printer, because if you try and do it without putting it on anything, the printer will just rip it to shreds. I use the same method for printing on vellum, because again, for the same reason, my printer will rip it to shreds, otherwise it just doesn't like it. I'm not sure if anyone else manages to get the vellum through without putting it on card, but I do use the same method. And I was printing on vellum the other night, so I decided to do these. You know, and I'll just keep those scrap pieces of card then and use them over and over again. So I thought we would decoupage this box using papers that I have, tissue paper that I've printed myself, using fairly cheap, well, very cheap, 80p for 7 sheets of white tissue paper, put through the printer using digital prints that I've had for quite a while now. I'm not sure how many digital collections I have, but I have a few. Because Alice in Wonderland is a bit of an obsession. I haven't done much on my channel, but I do absolutely love Alice in Wonderland. So I'm just taking these off. I should have done this beforehand, but I wanted to show you. Do apologise for coughing there. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that, you know, this is how I do mine. You know, other people may do them a different way, but this is how I found works for my printer. Right. So I'm trying not to rip it because I don't just want to pull it off and then rip my prints. But I mean, you can use, if you have tissue, if you have napkins, and wanted to decoupage, then you could obviously just, you wouldn't have to print. So I didn't have any napkins that I wanted to use, hence why I've made my own tissue paper. I think I've got most of it off. I got a bit carried away with the tape on this one. I don't normally put a lot of tape on. This is really cheap tissue paper, so it is very fragile, but I think napkins and that are when you're decoupaging anyway. There we go, we've nearly done it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these down. I'm going to show you how I do it, and if I can work out how to edit, how to speed it up during editing, then I will speed it up. If I can't work it out, then you will have me doing it throughout the whole video, or for the most of the video. If that's the case, then feel free to fast forward, you know, because watching me stick down pieces of tissue paper isn't going to be the most exciting things to watch. I mean, normally I would do a white gesso underneath, but because if we have a look at that paper, it's got quite a vintage browny colour anyway. So when I put it on here, it's not too bad. You know, you're not really, there's not much change. It's just slightly darker. So I'm not going to, yeah, I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to keep that as it is. So I'm not going to gesso it first. Obviously, we've got to be careful because it is a hinged box. It's not hinged, it's taped. So, you know, there's no hinges there. That's just 2 paper mache, and that's just been taped together there. I won't be doing the inside, but I probably will tidy it up on the inside. So, you know, I think I should have enough here. I've got 1, 2, 3 sheets plus, you know, some smaller pieces. So I use my Podge for when I decoupage, and this is my decoupage brush. That's a first edition or Trim Crafts Solba trim crafts, I think. And they call it a deco mache brush, but it's what I use for decoupage. So that's my brush. Because I'm using the whole sheets, I don't need to, I'm not just using selected images, so I don't need any water to break it down with, to separate it, because I'm using it as is. I'm going to try and match it as best as I can, but I don't think I'm going to be able to match it fully. I just need to be aware of where the back is, which, yeah, that's the back, that side. So looking at that, as long as that piece, I mean, it's covering the side, the front there, and I don't mind if it's not quite at the back there, because I can join it at the back there. So we're going to start with this. So as I say, I'm going to start off, and then if I can work out how to fast forward in the edit, then I will do. If not, feel free to fast forward, because you don't want to watch me sticking down pieces of tissue paper. Obviously, if you do, then that's fine. If you don't, then please just fast forward the video. So I know there's probably different ways of doing this, but this is the way that I do it. So again, so there's no, it's not an orientated paper. The roses are either way, so it doesn't really matter. This white mat on my board, Sir Tim Holtz board, if I leave my tub of paper mache there, it will fall onto this mat. Sorry, I was just taking a sip of my tea there. It will fall onto this mat, but this mat prevents glue sticking to it, so it's a brilliant little mat, that is. So first of all, I'm just gonna cover it. I'm just gonna cover it in stages, because obviously I don't want to make the whole box sticky. So I'm just going to do the lid first. Probably not the best place to start, but the good thing about using Mod Podge is when I've got it all down and it's dried, and then when I stick the ephemera over the top, then I will then make a weakened, get my teeth in, a diluted solution of the Mod Podge, and that will sit, and then I will just sort of go over it again, and that will seal it. So it, you know, it's, I'm not too bothered if I get creases, again, because if I do get too many creases, I can always cover it with ephemera. I will try not to get any creases, but we'll see how we get on. I don't always manage it, but we'll try, and especially when you're using full sheets. So all I do, I've got the front, we're going to start from the back. So I've tried to place it there so it's pretty much centred on the back, and I'm going to slowly just take it over like that. Try and get it into the crease there of the box. Sorry, that flipped over, so you probably didn't see that. So all I'm doing is just very gently just brushing it down with my finger for the moment. We've got a bit of a crease there, and where these bits are, I'm just trying to gently push it in. As I say, I'm not too bothered. if it has creases in, but I would try and, you know, limit how many I get. Turn it round there. So you would use this method for using napkins as well. And if you only wanted sections of the napkins, you can use water on a paintbrush to break the image away, because by wetting the tissue, the napkin, it helps the tissue paper rip without ripping, if that makes sense. You're able to then, you have more control because it's wet. So I'm trying not to get creases, but we are getting a few here on the back, but that's fine. So we've got a little bit more glue here. That's actually not gone on too bad. We've got a few creases here, and I've just ripped it there with my thumb. That's the only thing when the glue is wet, but again, I'm not that bothered. It can be covered with ephemera. It's not the end of the world. I'm just going to go over it quickly with a bit of glue just to help stick it down. And then once I've got the glue over the top, I'm then going to use cling film to rub it down with. Some people I've seen use acetate on videos. I use cling film, it's cheaper than the acetate, and it works just as well. Because these have been printed on my inkjet, I am getting a bit of the colour off, but you know, again, it's vintaged anyway, so that doesn't bother me. So I just get some cling film and get it off the reel. Don't get myself covered in it. And I'm just gonna, the bit that I've glued, I'm gluing this in stages because I don't want to have it all wet, because then you've got more chance of ripping it because it's wet. But by rubbing it with the cling film on, you've got less chance of ripping it. Because you're not actually touching it. I've got a bit of a crease there, I think, but never mind. So, let me take that off. And then just going to peel that a minute while I stick down a bit more. And then I'll be able to do the sides and the back. As I say, feel free to fast forward. And once I've done the top bit, I'm just going to carry on with no speech, because I am hoping to be able to fast forward it in the edit if I can work it out. So again, I'm just putting the cling film all the way down, and I'm just going to rub it all over, and it just prevents it ripping because I'm not, you're not touching it. Oh, sorry about that. I do apologise. I felt that one coming. So I'm just going to slowly peel it off. And then the Mod Podge dries clear, so... Right, so I'm going to carry on and then I'll come back when it's all stuck down. Alright, I'm back. So I covered it all up in the tissue paper. Some bits are still wet, which is why I've not sealed it down. The bits that are like raggedy here, once it's completely dried and been sealed, then I'll be able to go along with the file and file them off. So I'm not too concerned over that. But I've covered it all. So if you don't have a printer, then obviously you can use napkins and do the same thing. If you do use napkins, sorry for the whistling. I was trying to find some of my pattern napkins, but I couldn't find any. So I'm about to get some out of the kitchen. But if you were using napkins, you would have to separate them. And I can't remember whose channel it was on now. It was something I watched last year. The easiest way, I mean, you can separate it yourself, but the easiest way I saw anyone ever separate the napkin layers was to get a piece of sellotape. If I can do it. Typically I can't find the end. There we go. So you just get a piece of sellotape. And you stick it in the corner like that, just slowly, just slightly, and then you'll be able to pull back like that, and you're actually able to separate the layers of the napkin. And that is the easiest way I ever saw anyone ever do it. And I can't remember whose channel it was now. It was sometime last year, and I thought that was fabulous. So if you do have pretty napkins that you want to use and decoupage anything really, I mean, this is a paper mache box, but you can use anything really. So once this is dry fully, because obviously I've only just finished putting all the bits on, then I'll come back and organise some of the Alice in Wonderland ephemera, and we'll stick it all over the box to decorate it. But I think that's come out really, really well. I'm really pleased with how that looks on that box. This box I actually use, it holds my quilling papers, so it is used for crafting, but you can use it, you know, if you had a pretty box that you wanted to use to gift to somebody, you could do the same thing. So once it's all dry, I'll come back and then we can decorate it together. So I'm going to tidy up my desk because I've got a bit of Mod Podge on the table, so I do need to get rid of that. And wipe down this non-stick mat here before my mat gets too sticky. So I'll see you in a bit. Good afternoon. Right, I'm back, and I thought we would finish the box that I started. I didn't get back yesterday, so it is actually the next day. So I've got Oh, excuse me. So I've printed off more of the images onto tissue paper, and these are from the same collection, even though they're a different colourway. They are actually from the same collection. And again, I've done them on tissue paper. I have cut some of them, not cut, but you know, got some of them already down to roughly how I want them. I'm not too bothered about the edges, because once it's all been put up you won't notice. So this should hopefully just blend in. So on the top I'm thinking of that image there of Alice, and then this one here with the Alice and the Queen. I've got some script that was on the same papers there. What else? I've got some more script there I need to. I've got the painting of the roses, which I thought would come down the back like that. Then I've got the stopwatch, which I'm not really quite sure where to have that. I might do the stopwatch on one side, and I've got this rose that's slightly different to these, and I might have that on the other side like that, but we'll play with the composition. And then I've got teacups there that can be broken up into tiny pieces, and then we've got different images there. So let's get on and see how we get on. So I think first up, I'm going to start on the back. Make sure I've got the right way. So with it being tissue paper, you probably won't notice it there, but it's a lot fainter on that side than it is on that side. And as you can tell, even though this is printed on white tissue paper, it hasn't, the digital prints themselves haven't lost any clarity whatsoever. So they're still just as bright now as they would be if they were printed on white paper as opposed to tissue paper. So I'm thinking something like that. So where have I put my brush? So I'm just going to put a bit of Mod Podge down. Hope everybody's okay. What's everybody been up to? I would ask if anyone's got any plans for the weekend, but we're all in lockdown still, aren't we? Well, we are here in the UK anyway, or England. Not sure. And again, as per yesterday, once you've got it down to where you want it, if you just go over it, it will seal it in place anyway. I'm really pleased with how this has come out. My son spent ages last night trying to find out he said to me, he said, Mum, when you've been better doing it all in different images, like different pieces rather than in one piece. And I said it was done in different pieces. So he spent the next half an hour trying to work out where the joins were, and he couldn't work it out, so I'm pleased with that. It just shows how it just sort of just blends in. So I don't want the two Alices together, so that side's going to have to be the Queen. No, that way. So it's going to be Alice that side, and then Alice on her own that side. So we'll put this side down first. It's almost beginning to look too pretty just to use to keep my quilling papers in. Try and not get a crease. There we go. And the good thing about Mod Podge is it dries so quickly, really. I don't do it with a heat tool or anything. I just let it do its own thing. And it generally dries within a few hours. Especially when you're using like on this, something like this with tissue paper. But again, you know, if you don't have a printer and you don't want to, or don't use tissue paper, but you have napkins, then the process is exactly the same. This is just an alternative to not having any napkins that I wanted to use, really. Right. See if I put the clock there, I can do it like that. I don't mind you losing a bit of the top, but I just don't want to lose the bottom. Try and work out which way is which now. Yeah, it's that way. Open up that side. Oh no, I thought that was going to go into the opening, but it doesn't, so that's quite nice there actually. Just put a bit more over it to seal it. And then the other side, I'm going to do the rose, and I'm just going to put that there, like that, and then, actually I might put some, you just rip that a bit more. If you were using napkins to rip it, you're better off with a paintbrush with water on, to break down the tissue first. Oops. I'm just going to offset the rose slightly so you can still see some of the script. There we go. Right. down some of these teacups now, and then the other image, the little images. So I'll come back once I've done that, just bear with me. Right, so I'm back. So I've stuck them all down. So you saw me put the bigger images on the top there and the side, and then I've put the small rows there with the script. I'll do it that way, you'll be able to see it better. There. On this side I've got the clock, and then on here I've just got some of the smaller images of, so you've got Alice there, you've got the Queen, and you've got the Mad Hatter, and then you've got some teacups. You know, the top is dry, the bottoms, the sides aren't, because they've still got glue on it. But I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. It just seems a shame now to stick quilling papers in it, but that's what has been kept in it, so that's what will go back in. But do have a go yourself, either with napkins or if you have a printer with tissue paper, and you can do big things and small things. It doesn't have to be on paper mache, you can do it on anything. And share with us in Instagram, or if you have a YouTube channel, on your channel, and let us know how you get on with it. That's it for me for now. That's this week's craft with me. So all that's left for me to say is stay safe, take care, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.